within the Buddhist
Vipassana is one of the most simple forms of meditation, you know, but it's incredibly deep because that's all you do. An average of 10 hours a day meditation with small breaks.
10 hours a day?
Yeah. And I did it along with fasting, so I wasn't eating, and you know, full meditation, half-hour break, 1 hour break, 1 meal a day at 11 a.m. and the rest of the day is all meditation, complete silence. You don't say a word for 10 days. So very heavy duty disciplined that allows you to just really cleanse, you know, a lot of tendencies and observe your conditioning, and theoretically you're also cleansing your karma, because these things come up, you know, sometimes memories come up. I had an experience, you know, how they say that you live your whole life before dying. Well, it happened to me in Vipassana, just like, and mostly the visions were about me when I hurt people that I love, and those visions were so painful, man, but you're not supposed to move at all, you know. So at times I was just weeping, but I didn't move at all, and it really felt like a very deep cleansing, you know.
So it's like 10 hours of constant sitting, or you have like small breaks?
Breaks,
between?
yeah. An hour and a half sittings. Yeah.
I've recently read a book from Alejandro Jodorowsky. An amazing guy, a really amazing guy. And he's still alive. He's like 93 years old, and he still performs.
He's amazing.
And like the book that he wrote called the
Psychomagic?
No, the magician. No, the teacher and the witches. I think
something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, uticala čarovnice in Serbian. He actually described his connection with his spiritual teacher.
Zen
Eo, I think he was called, and he described one particular practice during his time with him, when his teacher asked him to do the so-called ryokatse, if I remember properly, and which is instead of sitting constantly for 7 days.
Yes.
In almost 24 hours, you have like 15 minutes to go to the toilet, and maybe like 15 more to have something to eat, and you just sit constantly for 7 days.
Yes.
So I cannot even imagine, if anyone who's watching this would just sit for 3 hours, just 1 hour sitting.
It's hard enough.
It's super hard. So I cannot imagine what's happening within us if we need to sit for 24 hours.
Painful.
The resistance,
painful,
the traumas, why am I doing this? He described his catharsis during this period in such a wonderful way.
Very cathartic.
And what it gave him once he finished it. So I can relate to that.
I went through that in Sri Lanka. There was I did several Vipassana retreats, and in this particular retreat, for some reason, my back was killing me. Like literally, it felt like it was a lion chomping on my
Yeah, and that's
back.
actually an important thing. It's like you don't sit like you're sitting here, like in chairs, like cuddled up, and just feeling good. No, you really need to sit with your back straight. You don't have any support.
Cross legs, not necessarily full lotus, but half lotus at the very minimum, and no comfort.
So did you went into this long meditation straight away once you went into Buddhism, or did you slowly dive into it? We had the Vipassana experience in the Gurdjieff school, so I was well acquainted with the technique, and I wanted to find it. So I wanted to go to India, but I wanted to do the length of India, which I did during 3 years. So I started in Sri Lanka, and I ended up spending almost 8 months in Sri Lanka, such a beautiful country. And I did several retreats in Sri Lanka. In this particular retreat, it was like unbearable pain. And so I was ever so slightly doing this kind of thing, and just stretching a little bit. And my teacher comes and says, "You're moving way too much." Next sitting, you're probably thinking like,
"Oh my God!"
Go to hell.
Next sitting, you don't move a hair, and I decided to leave. I said, "No, it's just too much,
Yeah.
So I started packing, and he came and he gave me a pep talk, or a Pepe talk, and he said something very interesting. He said, "You're labeling it pain, so you experience it as such. Let's relabel it. It's just a physical sensation. Let it be, explore it, observe it, and see what happens." I was like, "Okay, I'm open to that." Oh my God. Next meditation, the lion starts chomping my back, and I go like, sensation. And all of a sudden, you know, I almost had this visual sensation of this little monster, you know, and when the monster couldn't, you know, make me move, you know, he would move here, and then he would move there, and it's like, I'm gonna make you move. And then these memories started coming up, as I told you, of me, particularly a long relationship that I had with my first wife, that we left the country, of the little ways that I would hurt her, and this in her face, and just 3D HD here in pain. It was like, so I started weeping, you know, but I didn't move. According to my teacher, that is a karma cleanse that I went through. The fascinating thing is that before I sat, I would have told my teacher, don't give me that shit, you know, I have a physical problem, I need physical therapy, this is not good for me. Fortunately, I had enough respect and love for my teacher that I went through that experience. Guess what? Next sitting, the pain was gone. Next sitting, the pain was gone. You know, that was a mind blower. Okay, that gave me such faith in the teachings, you know.
The results came almost instantly.
The results came instantly, just as he had described, and it goes way beyond any rational explanation for it, you know, because I was tortured for 3-4 days, and the next day it was gone, you know.
Yeah, and the beautiful